Good afternoon. Welcome to E2G Sports, Ear to the Ground Sports. Um, Kind of opening day football, opening day with games football, and the introduction of Sara Marshall to our team. Uh, Very happy this has all happened. Thanks to Murph for being part of this and getting Sara on board here at E2G Sports. Sara, how are you doing out there in Arizona today?
I'm tired today. As I told you before we went on air, we had thunderstorms this morning that woke me up. So I've been up since 4 a.m. So it's just been one of those crazy days. Um, Actually experiencing weather in Arizona, we usually have sunshine every single day. So it's kind of nice when you get rain. It's just not nice when it wakes you up.
So the fans here are going to ask, who is Sara? Just tell me about your sports journey, your passion for the team, and kind of the angle you like to take with things.
Well, I grew up in Massachusetts. I lived there until 2003, so I've actually lived in two different states since then. But I was always Boston sports type of person growing up, and the entire time that I've been out of there as well, I feel like I'm almost more passionate now that I don't live there. Just when you're born in Boston, it's in your blood. Like, you are Boston through and through. So um I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life for a really long time. And when the pandemic happened, it was just kind of a good opportunity, a good chance to dabble in something new. And I ended up getting an opportunity to write for Full Press Patriots. And so that's kind of where it all started. I never thought I would be a writer. I never thought I would be doing live streams or podcasts. But since then, it's just kind of taken off. So I've written for a couple websites, writing for Musket Fire right now. Now I'm joining you guys here so I can write and podcast and live stream. Hopefully going to start my own little live stream shortly.
Yeah.
I have a tentative name, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, you didn't
Um,
even share it beforehand. Really?
I know.
I
I'll
got to
have to
think about
tell
it
you.
all show now.
I know. It's good because it's combining like two things that I really love. So I'm excited. I
All
hope
right.
it's good. Um, yeah, so I'm excited to get back into that. And just I like, so my whole shtick, I guess, is trying to be more optimistic and realistic with what we're talking about when it comes to the Patriots, but also being optimistic. I don't like to be, dwelling on the team or just talking badly about specific players just for the sake of it. I like to just try and be optimistic. As I've said, I'm not optimistic in my day-to-day life. So if I can be optimistic with sports, I'm going to do it. So that's the kind of the take that I think that I'll go with, whatever show I'm on or what show I'm doing.
All right. We like that. We like that. So a little different.
Hmm.
I can be critical. So
Well, in
it's different.
Boston media, for the most part, is super negative. So, I mean, even when they were winning championship after championship, there was something that they could pick out and hate on. So I'm like, no, I want to be the opposite of that.
All right. So we're going to jump into some Patriot thoughts.
Okay.
Touch it a little bit different than everybody else does. We're not going to go with the offense right away and the struggles. My curiosity, your thoughts on the cornerback battle at this time? Should
Mhm.
they go with youth, not you if the autocorrect, youth,
Mhm.
if all is equal?
I it seems like that's the direction that they're going in, which I think, kind of goes hand in hand with what Belichick's new philosophy is that he's kind of started this season or even alluded to, getting younger, getting faster, changing the entire playbook. It's like a whole new thing this season. So it kind of seems that's the direction that they're going in. But I think it would be difficult for Belichick to just completely give up his usual, like, okay, well, who's performing the best and whatever. He's not just going to pick the young guy for the sake of it. But as of right now, just judging off of training camp, that's kind of what it's looking like. I think still have high hopes for Malcolm Butler, but he's not been the guy that stood out at camp. And it seems like Jalen Mills has taken the CB1 spot. So it's just trying to determine who's going to be his guy right next to him. So whether that's going to be Butler, who knows? It's not looking wonderful at this point. But training camp is training camp. You kind of have to like take it with a grain of salt slightly. Terrence Mitchell has been impressing at camp as well. So that's a name to watch. Plus, of course, they have Marcus Jones, a rookie, Juwan Williams. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go more so with youth, but with still so early in the preseason, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what they're going to do.
Just to feel from my side, Jack Jones, Marcus Jones, two of the rookies, third and fourth round picks. I know Marcus Jones has a real lot of value because of his punt return ability.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys, if you watch clips, he knows how to return.
Yeah.
There's been years we've just thrown a guy back there.
Yep.
And he runs up to the 17-yard line into a pile of people and falls down. And we're like, well, it's an 83-yard drive now. Just not the effort. So, yeah, those are two guys who intrigue me. A name you mentioned, Juwan Williams. I mean, this has got to be his last stand, just going into 4. So we will move to, as I'm calling it, the second level. Okay. We know McCourty's the big guy in the back. They run a cover 2, who could be the other guy back there. But what I'm looking at is that group of linebacker safety hybrids between like Cam McGrone, Mac Wilson, Jabril Peppers, Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips. What do you think kind of like the best group is? And you don't want to get too small because you don't want to get run on. So it's a good way of looking at it.
And that's hard because my favorites are Duggar and Phillips, and they're both not the biggest of guys that they have. But I feel like they're both a little underrated. And I actually wanted to talk about in an article, maybe that could be one of my first ones with you guys, about Duggar being one of Belichick's better draft picks. I think that he's kind of gone under the radar as far as, people want to come at Belichick a lot for how bad he drafts, but I feel like Duggar is not one that people are recognizing that actually has been developing into a really good player. And so I really like him. And then, Joshua Bledsoe apparently has been looking really, really good at camp, which is exciting because another young guy. So if you're looking to develop guys that Belichick has brought in, he's a guy to be looking out for. I like Jabril Peppers too, and I think that he kind of is bridging that gap between like being a smaller and a bigger guy. He's bigger than the others, but he's so versatile. So I think I like that factor of him too. Like he's not just put into one box. They can basically put him almost anywhere, I think, in the secondary, and he's done that in his career so far. So I don't know who I have my favorites, but I don't know who the best like combo would be.
I think any of the combos have to include Duggar.
Yeah, I think so. Like I think he's I know that a lot of people were concerned when he was drafted because of the school he went to and his age, but like I feel like that's not been an issue whatsoever. If anything, he looks like he's been in the league a lot longer than he has been.
Yeah, Lenore Ryan, Grant Delpit was still, available to be drafted at LSU. He had a huge career down there, and they went with Duggar.
Yeah,
took a chance.
And I think it's paid off so far. I mean, I still remember his play against the Ravens where he made sure that to get in the way or pass breakup to make the Patriots win in that game where Belichick was controlling the weather.
Yes.
Yes. That game. Those types of plays, he's had quite a few of them already, and it's only his third season. So it's pretty incredible. And I feel like people should recognize that a little bit more.
He's also got to learn to finish those last 2 yards to get an official pick 6.
Yes.
Because he said returns to the 2-yard line, setting up the running backs for easy touchdowns.
Yeah, that adrenaline is just like, I'm excited, and then you just stop.
So 2 guys I want to talk about. We're going to go to the front. line, but
Mm-hmm.
on the defense. But what do you have for ceilings for Barmore and Duggar?
Ooh, I don't know. Both of them are really exciting. We were just talking about Duggar briefly. I feel like we haven't quite seen his ceiling yet. I feel like he's still developing, and I mean he's lucky to be working with a lot of the veteran defensive players that the Patriots have right now to learn from and to mentor from. Barmore is very exciting. He's already looking like he's on this massive second year jump, and it's only training camp. I mean, they were also talking about him again today about how he basically looks unblockable. So unless double teamed, they were saying, I forget which reporter it was, but he said unless he's double teamed, like nothing's gonna happen. So I I think as far as going younger, definitely very exciting. Barmore is another great draft pick by Belichick, and I think we're going to see that pay off again this year with a full season with him. If he's looking this good in training camp, I can't imagine how he's going to look, in an actual game. But their ceilings, I don't know. Like, would you compare it to a player? Like,
I would for Barmore.
yeah, who would you say?
I'm just gonna say last year scouting him coming out, he was the guy I wanted at 15. They
Mm-hmm.
drafted Mac Jones at 15. They got Barmore at 38. I was
Yeah.
over the moon that they got them both.
And I remember that they were saying that they got him, basically it was a steal to get him at 38. Like they couldn't believe that he was still available.
When I watch his hands
Mm-hmm.
and his body type, I truly see Richard Seymour. I've been saying that since the beginning.
That would be really cool.
A little bit more athletic, maybe a different scheme, and he's getting into the backfield a lot more. But you saw it last year.
Yeah.
Something like 21 pressures from inside.
Yeah.
Which just led all the rookies.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he's killing it, like, again, with getting to the quarterback, stopping the run. Like, he's doing absolutely everything at training camp already. So I know it's just training camp, and I said at the beginning that you have to take it with a grain of salt, but it is exciting because he didn't get to play all of last year. So the fact he's doing this already is he said he was working on a lot of that stuff too, especially stopping the run, which is going to be huge because the Patriots have been super weak at that over the last few years.
Yeah, they gave up a lot of yards to a lot of backs who really aren't that good.
Yeah, and especially the Dolphins.
Yeah, when Myles Gaskin is gashing you.
Yeah.
What issues.
Yeah.
So I look at the pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
We probably have Barmore in the middle there.
Yep.
Who do you have opposite Judon?
I like E2G. I know that that was one guy that you had kind of thrown in there. I like him a lot. I think that last year was kind of a weird year with him. He didn't play as much as I think I would have liked to see, but I think he has the potential to do that. We saw a little bit of that last year. But hopefully if he's healthy, I like him. And Gotcha too. I like, he had, I don't remember how many, I should have gotten stats and I didn't get the stats.
Oh, no worries.
But, Belichick clearly believes in him. He got a couple sacks last year. He seems to be enjoying his time in New England as well. And I think the new contract and the nice words from Belichick are going to fuel him a bit more. And he was talking about working and getting better at that too. So I think E2G is a front runner for me. I'm hoping that he can stay healthy, and now that that he can get put in the game a lot more too. He didn't get as many opportunities last year.
Absolutely. Ear to the Ground Sports, just a football show, just here to talk football.
Mm-hmm.
But a terrible crime occurred in 1989. A rapper, Biz Markie, got credit for writing a song, Just a Friend. And through a lot of research and, talking to people on the ground, I have come to learn that the real person who wrote Just a Friend was Thomas Murphy. Murphy, can you either deny or can you tell us? Are you allowed to talk about it?
After settlement, I am not allowed to talk about that subject.
Okay.
You know, it's funny when you said 1989, something bad happened. I thought you were going to talk about me being born.
No,
So I was
No.
like, Sarah was born. It was a dreadful day.
I have T-shirts older than Sarah. People, I have T-shirts older than Sarah.
Nice. So
I'm sure
How
my
we
mom does
doing?
too.
How we
Good.
doing? I'm only here so I don't get fined. Um,
Thanks, Marshawn.
that's it. Oh yeah. So what are we thinking, guys? Are anybody standing on the edge of the Tobin with all this garbage that we're hearing coming out of Patriots camp, that nobody can get on the same page, and the offensive line is a mess, and skill players have no skill, and it's all about the defense. The defense is going to have to carry this team, but they suck. It all depends on what day you turn on what radio station as to what's going wrong in Foxborough right now. Let me tell you something, people. Um, when you run a certain offense, the bastardized Earhart, offense that the Patriots have run for 20 plus years, and then you try to install this, it takes more than 3 days. It really does, especially when you consider that the vast majority, 70, 80, 90% of the guys that are on this roster at the offensive line position have never done this before.
Yep.
So, like I said a week ago, less than a week ago, this team does not need to name an offensive coordinator. This team needs to bring back Dante Scarnecchia, because we don't have an offensive line coach that can install this program in a quick, orderly, military fashion.
You're not,
that's. Oh, I'm sorry.
you're not seeing Billy Yates leading this new system
No,
into the
no.
into the 21st century here.
I'm really not, man. This system is very intricate. It's actually it's not. It's not very intricate. This is an offense for dummies. It really is. There's you install it, you call a play, and you run it. There is no audibles to be called at the line of scrimmage. It is a very simple offense to run once you get it down. Okay. Once you understand the intricacies of the blocking scheme that is going to have to keep Mac Jones alive, upright, and looking quite pretty, as a matter of fact. But no, I really don't. I don't see him as the answer here. In a quick fashion, Bill should have done something to bring somebody in, not an OC, but somebody in that knows this offense and has done more than watch it on film.
It's a good point. And what are we going to see for formations? Like, is there a lot of variety? Are we going 12,
Yeah,
maybe some 13 personnel? Or what?
Usually, see, this is the rub. What I've seen out of this formation, out of this offense, the most time is running 11 personnel, which for people out there that don't know, 11 personnel is one running back, one tight end, and three wideouts. Okay, they have the people to do that, but this completely goes against what a lot of people are saying, that we're going to get back to what Claire would like to see, the two tight end offense, and you will see some of that, but no, most of this offense is run out of 11, buddy.
Who's the U check when they go to that situation?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know.
That's
I
a
was
good.
like, I don't know.
I really don't know. I honestly do not know. What do you think, bud? Or is that why you're at? Yeah, or is that why you're asking me the question?
No, I wanted to see if we were all thinking the same thing. I think it's Dalton Keene, and I go back to his Miami game, Vautech, 3 touchdowns, and the roles he performed, and you can see the similarities with that offense and what he did in that game.
Yeah, no, I agree, but he can't stay on the field.
Yeah,
He can't get on the field.
Yeah. We can push him around in a wheelchair. We'll call it a new formation.
That's brilliant. But after that, Jonnu Smith, you know, but then you run into his communication problems. I think Jonnu, for all the talent that he has, and please don't take this the wrong way, and I will take all the hate tweets and hate mail that you want to say to me. I don't think he's a very bright football player. I really don't. I don't think he gets the intricacies of a difficult offense, or one that relies on so many things that when a quarterback sees what's happening across the line of scrimmage. But then again, this is an offense that should help that, And I don't know. What do you think, Sarah?
No, I'm on the same page about Keene. I thought that they were going to possibly implement him as a fullback anyway, because they needed somebody else other than Jakob, and then when they got rid of Jakob, I figured that would be Keene's spot this year. But like you said, we haven't really seen anything from him because he keeps getting injured and then not playing in a game. So it's like, well, yeah, we can assume that this is what's going to happen, but who knows how he's going to play in the NFL? Like, we haven't even seen that.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah. And so I also was saying, Ty Montgomery's versatile, so they could try and figure out something with him possibly, but who knows? He's looking like the lead kick returner now.
Right. He's a very small man to play that role, though.
Yeah. And then Asiasi has been doing stuff at camp this week, but they haven't implemented him really at all either. So it's like, your best guess is as good as mine, because it's difficult to say what they would do.
Right. The thing with Asiasi goes hand in hand with N'Keal Harry, that when the Patriots were scouting these guys, they didn't realize that nobody in the Pac-12 plays defense.
Yeah.
There's no defense in the Pac-12, none. And that's why you went back, even I got sucked into it looking at tape, because I didn't look at tape of these guys before that draft. I did not. They were not on my radar at all as fits here. And I went back and I looked and I said, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we like that. Yeah. And then it just turned out to be that, they played in a weak conference that doesn't play defense, that doesn't body anybody up, that is basically touch football. And that's the reason that I believe Asiasi will be on his assy and looking for a job in short order. And why we, made the worst pick in Patriots history with N'Keal Harry, the second worst pick.
Who's the first?
Dominic Easley?
Yeah, thank you. Dominic Easley. Trisket Knees is the worst pick that Bill, I had Stephon Tuitt. I had him. I had him mocked to the Patriots in the first round, and they passed on him to take this kid on the potential that his knees would hold up. A man who had 2 blown ACLs on both sides of his body before he was even drafted, and Bill took him. Bill took him based.
Like 285 too, like not into their weight and height.
No. Yeah, he was. That's a good point. It was a complete. Bill was shifting philosophies from what he wanted to do to two-gapping, penetrating type of defensive lineman at that time, and going away from the let's eat up their entire offensive line with three defensive linemen and let the linebackers fly to people, which I think he's getting back to now, which circles back to when I walked in and you guys were talking about Godchow and his new contract. Bravo. Fabulous contract. I love this contract. I love Devin Godchow. All the talking heads out there that are screaming about his lack of stats. Okay, that's not his job. It's not his job to penetrate and get to the quarterback. It's not his job to drag down running backs that are trying to get to the edge or jump in through the A gap. Go back and watch film, folks, of what this man does to an offensive line, taking up two blockers at the same time, sometimes 3, making running backs jump from A gap to B gap and then allowing a linebacker to come in. Now, the problem was our linebackers were too old and slow to get into that gap and stop the run. The defensive line last year did their job, did it pretty well. They could have set an edge better, but other than that, the big fat guys on the inside did what they were supposed to do. It was the fact that, people were just too old and too slow and had to try to outthink an offense to make plays instead of using their athletic ability, which was really not there anymore.
And now they're all the complete opposite. They're all young and
Right.
fast.
That's
so
it. That's it.
It's exciting.
It is. It's exciting, man. I've got a little Belichick in my pants right now thinking about it, man. It's freaking amazing.
Yes.
Welcome to the family. Okay, I am also the
first
head
HR report right there.
Yep, I am also the head of HR.
Right in front of the founder. Unbelievable.
I'm already conducting my email, so
there you go.
Oh, all right. Well, I can't wait to read it.
Murph is causing a hostile but really funny environment to work in.
Ear to the ground sports here talking to you. Football's finally here.
It is.
Sara Marshall, Murph, at E2G founder. If you have any comments, feel free to add them up.
Yep.
What you're thinking. And we were just talking about this, the run defense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were talking about Barmore earlier. Can he be a 3-down menace? And you may have to spell him a little bit. And Godchild, but who's another? Henry Anderson, I heard, is having a pretty good camp.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Anderson was hurt all of last year. We didn't see him. Steve and myself were really high on him coming in here. Claire also. That was early in Plazzy Claire's tenure with us on One Patriots Place. But she was really into it. We loved this pickup. We thought he was going to come in here and do a lot of things. He had to sit out the entire year, but no, I like it. I think that this rotation is going to allow Bill to do a lot of things in the defensive backfield that he's going to want to do. Go back, folks, and watch the Super Bowl against the 36, the Super Bowl against the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And what Bill was trying to do to slow down what was the best offense in the NFL for 2 years running. Okay, what he did was he set up a 4-1-6 defense. He had four defensive linemen down. And then he would bring down Chung as a fifth guy. He would have one linebacker on the field, and everybody else was a defensive back. And what they were supposed to do was stop that running game, stop the running game that Bill is really trying to introduce right now. Mm-hmm. And he did a fantastic job. And I think that the group that he has now is going to be able to do that.
I'm excited about this. I'm just excited in general. I feel like there's so many parts of the team that are exciting now. Like, I think it's been a while,
right,
for me anyway, that like the team overall has been like exciting to think like what could they do, the possibilities that they have. Outside of like Mac Jones last year, like that was exciting, of course. But like outside of him, it's been a while to be excited about all these young players again.
Mm-hmm. Because simply Bill trusts veterans. He does not trust rookies. And this is why you see guys at the end of their rookie contracts moving on somewhere else, because Bill trusted the veterans so much during their formative seasons that it didn't make sense to keep them financially. It really didn't. They were able to go out and get more money elsewhere. But circling back to the original, I think Barmore is a 3-down guy this year. I put out last night I tweeted out last night. I was thinking about him. I was watching some film of him, and it was the speech from the Terminator. He can't be dealt with. He can't be reasoned with, and he will never stop until you are dead. This is what Christian Barmore is going to do to opposing offenses this year, people. It's going to be a beautiful thing to watch, and he could end up being the defensive player of the year. Now, the questions that I really have is at the edge of this Patriots defense. I don't have a lot of problems with what's happening on the inside, but is Dietrich Wise and Lawrence Guy, are they going to be, and Mr. Anderson, and then of course our linebacking core, are they going to be able to set an edge this year? I didn't see enough of it last year. This year, as Sara said, they've gotten younger, stronger, and faster. It's the $6 million man freaking set of linebackers here. Are they going to be able to step up and do their job? That's the question, folks. It's the youth at the second level.
Mm-hmm.
And my feeling is the guy who's the early down edge guy is Anthony Jennings, and he's been performing pretty well.
Yep. I like
he was
that.
really good at that at Alabama. He wasn't like a great pass rusher, but he'd get his sacks, but he was really good at setting the edge. And he had a few picks, like running with running backs into the flat and making plays on the ball. Everybody remembers him for that block in the Arizona game. The punt was like his only moment from his rookie year where, he got flagged for that stupid, blindside block on a punt return that they ran back for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his highlight moment in New England so far. But I think he's early down, and my pass rush situation, I'd be going with Judon, Perkins on the other end, Barmore in the middle.
Yep.
Uche is the Joker, like they used to
there
do
you go.
Teddy Bruschi back in '96.
Yep. There you go. That's perfect. And I love that analogy. That's a really good analogy. Sara, were you alive in 86?
96.
No. I was in 96, but not 86.
96. Yeah, I meant to say 96.
Yes, 96. Yes, I was.
I love doing shows with Sara because she sits there and her hair just you see her hair, people? It's just flowing. It's just flowing. It's like a Prel commercial or something. You guys remember Prel? You sit there and it's just got a little flowing thing.
Yeah, okay, I know. I told him before we went on, I was like, when he told me you were going to be here, I was like, he's going to say something about my hair. I'm sitting under that fan again.
That's it. Now I'm really mad at Buddy because he ruined the surprise. I was supposed to be a surprise guest.
Well, he did. He sprung it on me like a minute before we went on, so it was still kind of a surprise.
Yeah. Just give her something extra to think about.
But I did. I just wanted to come. I didn't want to come in and take over the show. I just wanted to come in and welcome Sara to E2G. We're really looking forward to the content that she brings. And what you're going to like, folks, what you're really going to like about Sara is she doesn't agree with me. Okay?
I don't agree with a lot of people.
On a lot of subjects, she does not agree. She's one of the smartest young football minds that I've met over the past decade. And yet she thinks I'm an idiot. And that's great. And that's what I love. So you're going to see us go back and forth with different opinions. We might do a he said, she said freaking thing going on Monday mornings, something like that. It's going to be a blast. It really is. Now, I've got a question. Do we have any more in the chat?
No.
Because I'm not in the YouTube thing. Now, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing is this run offense this year. I think the depth that we had, I hate when I do that the Patriots have at running back is by far the best in the NFL and the most diverse in the NFL. Sara, what do you think of that statement?
No, I agree 100%. I was just talking earlier I wrote about Ty Montgomery last night, and I feel like he's kind of an under the radar secret weapon for the Patriots this year. Losing Brandon Bolden, I think, is a bigger deal than a lot of people want to give credit to because,
I need a minute.
Because I
need a minute.
Because Bolden was used and he was so versatile. I think Montgomery has a little bit more versatility to him than Bolden did. But, if they can have a healthy James White at some point too, I think that depth is even crazier. Like they could use them in so many different ways. And the second year of Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is really exciting too.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to watch because Damian is playing on his last year of his contract. So we'll have to see how much they use Stevenson and if that means that maybe Harris is on his way out.
Yeah. There's a one of my great grand Bill conspiracy theories is when a player is up for a contract, you watch his minutes and time on field drop down because
and that's
he
kind
wants.
of it's already been happening in training camp too.
Yeah.
Like Harris hasn't been participating as much as Stevenson, other than yesterday.
Nope.
He was limited, but
Nope.
They had him returning kicks today.
Yeah.
I know, I saw that. Yeah.
And it really does. It happens. If you're under contract for the next 2 or 3 years, it happens. Look at the last time James White was up for a contract. His numbers went down before he re-signed, and then they jumped right back up, and this is the MO of the New England Patriots. Even Tom Brady's last couple of years, this team ran the ball a lot more than they passed the ball, and that wasn't because of Tom. That was not because Tom Brady was inching closer to that cliff. But no, with this group of running backs, there's so much that Bill is going to be able to do. I hope that we have the brain trust that is going to be able to use it and use it properly, because if it is used properly, I think that this running back core with under this system that it relies so heavily on play action passes is really going to be able to explode and shock quite a few people. Ramondre catches the ball out of the backfield a lot better than people give him credit for. The kid that they drafted, God, what was his name?
Pierre Strong.
Yeah, Pierre Strong is somebody else that thank you so much, buddy. Is somebody else. I had a stroke when I was 19, people, and names just fly out of my head. Pierre Strong, with his speed coming out of the backfield to catch the ball in space, is going to be scary good. Scary good. You don't see a lot of rookie running backs make an impact here in New England. But I do believe that this kid is one that's going to be able to.
And he was back at practice actually participating today, so that's good too.
Yeah, isn't that good? That's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful. Sarah knew that, and she's all the way out there in Sun Devil Land.
I think she has like an underground tunnel. She's like,
yeah, I just run back and forth. So
yeah, it's one of those secure. Yeah, it's one of those secure Team 9 tunnels that you see on YouTube. The guy who talks about, I love secure team guy, and they've got one of the tunnel that runs right from Sarah's garage all the way to Foxborough. That's it.
Yep.
Buddy's looking at us like, what's secure team? What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's not in my wheelhouse. I'm sorry.
Just Google it. Google it after the show. Google it after the show.
I'm not going to be getting funny ads, right?
No.
Okay.
Do either of you have any surprise cuts? Coming or not even a surprise cut, but just somebody that might not be on anybody's radar right now, before camp ends or by the time the first cuts come around.
I'm horrible at this, so I'm curious to know what your guys' answer is. I'm so bad at doing. I get too emotionally attached sometimes, where I'm like, I don't want this player to leave. But yeah, I'm so terrible at guessing, so I'm like, I never participate in this. When people are like, "What's your roster prediction?" I'm like, whatever yours is, because I'm so bad at it.
I got a big one.
Yeah, let's have it.
I got Jacoby Missionary Myers.
Oh my goodness.
Now
he's traded for his 4.1.
There you go.
Back. I'm not saying he's the most tradable player. He's the most tradable contract. There is a major difference between those two things.
There you go. I couldn't agree more. I think he's somebody that the Patriots could move, not for something too significant. Now, I had Joshua Bledsoe on the outside looking in this year. Maybe try to sneak him back onto the practice squad. But he has shown so much right now in the first couple of weeks of practice and OTAs that I don't think he's going to be able to squeak by. Somebody will pick him up. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of this pick when it happened. I wanted the other guy who, for the life of me, I can't remember his name right now, that played with him. Um, but no, it's getting really difficult with the amount of good reps that we're seeing about from those guys that are on the bubble to actually nail this down. The usual guys that you see, Bill's not going to keep 10 offensive linemen. He's not going to keep 6 safeties. He could end up keeping 6 or 7 safeties, and to make room for Joshua Bledsoe, he might end up cutting a cornerback. With the way that this system is being handled right now. Who that cornerback is, I'm not really sure. But it could be. The Joneses are all going to be here, but
You get the name. University of Washington.
Yeah. Yeah. Is John Jones gonna be sent packing? Is that what you're talking about?
I think he's going to be Miles Bryant away from here.
Oh, yeah. We mentioned Miles yesterday, and so yeah, that could end up being it. That could end up being the thing. If you go and you look at the Patriots depth chart right now on the website, they actually have people listed as DBs. Yeah. Jonathan Jones, Miles Bryant are just listed as defensive backs. Cody Davis probably should be there. Malcolm Butler. There's a name that we should talk about. Malcolm Butler was brought back in here to mentor these young guys, I believe, but he's had such a good camp. He's had so many good reps. I think he's pushed his way back up the depth chart and into starting consideration. Do both of you agree with that, or one of you? Somebody disagree with it?
I don't. I don't feel that's the case. I don't.
Oh, you don't?
No. Nope. He was a guy I had on the outside. He's still having trouble with the deep ball and locating the ball in the air.
Okay.
Getting him on the outside, but I know his game is coming forward, and you're not going to fool him twice, type thing.
Right.
Like you'll get him once, you will not get him twice.
Right. And Bill loves that. Bill loves that. Bill loves when you don't make the same mistake twice. And so, but buddy, you're saying that he's not in the conversation as a starter?
I don't have him on the roster.
You don't have Malcolm Butler on this roster. Nope. Wow.
That's the bomb you should have dropped a couple minutes ago.
That's what you should have said 2 minutes ago, bud.
Oh no, I don't have him making the roster.
No sweat. All right. Well, I'm not going
on E2G Sports by my breakdown. Joshua Bledsoe.
Oh, that's right.
53rd player.
That's right. No, I don't know why that took me by surprise, because I read that and I was like, "What the fuck?" Excuse me. Terribly sorry. Had a few adult beverages with the guys from the Red Sox the other night, and it's still sticking with me. I apologize for that. All the children that are listening.
Well, we are talking Boston sports, so
yeah.
On brand,
on point. But no, I find that not shocking, since I did read it, but shocking because you cop to it here. That's almost like saying Kyle Duggar isn't going to make this squad.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody. I'm not saying that.
We were
I'm
just
never
talking
going to say
really
that.
good about Duggar too.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah.
why not, man? This kid is about to really explode on
Mhm.
this league. Like Barmore. Um, for the first time in a long, long time, as we said earlier, that this team is young, fast, and exciting.
Yep.
Especially on that side of the ball. Especially
Mhm.
on that side of the ball. So no, I'm looking forward to it. But no, I will literally buy everybody listening right now a steak dinner if if Butler is not on this team at the end of training camp. I just
All
can't.
right.
I say, Buddy signs the checks. It doesn't mean I have to agree with him.
Nope.
That's what I love about the man. He's never been my way or the highway.
Nope.
It's the way we got to go.
Be you.
So
Be creative.
there you go. There you go. Let's talk about. Well, we talked about the offensive, the defensive line. We touched on the offensive line. What did you guys think of Jake Bailey's new contract?
I was okay with it. I
Yeah.
feel like they need to stop the turnover at kicking and punting. There's just too much. I'm like, you've solidified a guy that's been consistently good. He had some bad moments last year, but so did the special teams in general. So I feel like you
Right.
can't just,
Yeah.
Pinpoint him for that.
No.
Um,
No.
but
I don't
yeah,
put a
huh?
I don't put a single block punt on him last year.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
There were some other issues, but you can't put a block punt on a punter.
Yeah, no, the special teams was a mess last year, which is very weird. It was kind of hard to sit with because I even wrote about it last season. Like, it's usually the part of the team that you never have to worry about. And last year it
Mhm.
was like you were holding your breath every time that had to happen. So I was fine with it. I was excited. I think he's good. They finally found somebody. They just need to focus on trying to find a kicker. As much as I love Nick Folk, I mean, they've basically struggled since Gostowski left. So
And
I'm like,
Nick's been good.
Big kick Nick.
I know, but he's
Nick,
like
Nick,
what,
Nick, what are you
30?
talking about?
He's like
I don't
38.
care. Tom
Hey, I
Brady's
like him. I want him for the
45.
season. I'm just saying
I
I heard somewhere that
they need
How
to
old
find the
is
next
he?
Nick Folk.
the Dolphin diddler, Tom Brady, is 45. So I got no problem with a
Well,
37-year-old kicker.
okay.
And don't forget how old Morton Anderson was when he
Oh
returned.
yeah,
Well, and I know Vinatieri was older too.
Nick
but,
Lowry was kicking into his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys out there that
But
that
doesn't he have back issues? Doesn't Folk have? Is it back issues?
we
I
all
swear it
have
was
back
back.
issues. We're in our
I'm just
30s
saying
and
it's a little
40s.
concerning as a football player.
I hurt my back getting a back massage the other day.
Oh,
That's
I
how
heard my
that's how old I am. I hurt my back getting a massage the other day.
the struggle is real.
Hey, do you guys want to talk? Speaking of massages, you guys want to talk about Deshaun Watson at all? There's a
Yeah,
nice segue.
yeah. We're gonna talk about that. Actually, that was on the plan. So,
Oh, okay. Like I
can
said,
I share my thoughts?
Yeah, please. Being the woman in the room, share your
Yes.
bloody
yeah,
thoughts.
please do.
We gotta have it.
So, starting from the original suspension, I was very disappointed. I feel like it didn't really. What she was saying, I kind of feel like it didn't make any sense. But I was
Non-violent.
happy. Yeah,
It was non-violent.
It's just but
I almost threw a TV through the wall when I heard
know. Yeah, and I know someone made a good point on Twitter where they were saying, she mentioned the CBA and like the new rules that they're trying to apply this season.
that.
And that's why she felt like it didn't deserve a longer suspension or something like that. But they were saying that in the CBA, that type of thing only applies when this is like an isolated incident for a player.
Right.
So like if this was just a one-time thing with Watson, 6 games, okay, whatever. If that's your argument, sure. But when there's nearly 30 different women that have filed civil suits,
Right.
I feel like you kind of need to take that into consideration with your punishment, because you're telling me he deserves like only 2 games more than possible deflated footballs, or
Yep.
a lot less of a
Roethlisberger.
suspension than a guy who bet on a game that wasn't even playing. Like there's just like so many different things that you can take into consideration. Just doesn't make sense. So I was happy that the NFL appealed, but I'm just not looking forward to the next several weeks / months, because they can then file a suit in federal court, which then allows him to play as possibly as soon as week 1. And I'm just going to be over it. And I said this to my sister yesterday when we were talking about it. As much as I love the NFL and watching football, sometimes it's moments like this that make it very difficult to be
Mhm.
a female fan and like watch just this kind of thing happen again. You know, we've
Mhm.
dealt with this kind of stuff for a lot under Goodell
Yeah.
specifically.
Well,
And
I
it
mean,
just
before Goodell, we didn't hear about it.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
it was a story in a local paper.
Mhm.
There
And
wasn't an avenue for the public to be outraged
right.
and to share their we wouldn't have seen Ray Rice
Yeah.
knocking his
Oh.
wife out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
We wouldn't have heard the stories. We might have heard the story about Ben Roethlisberger in the nightclub in Georgia, but we wouldn't have heard what happened in the hotel room in it wasn't Las Vegas. It was um, in Reno.
Mhm.
We wouldn't have heard about that.
Yeah.
Uh, and now it's just everybody has a voice.
Mhm.
Everybody, they call it social media for a reason.
Mhm.
And you might have to sift through a lot of the garbage, but the outrage from people is real, and it is concrete.
Yeah.
And it's folks, go if you really want to know what I feel about it, go to e2gsports.com and read what I wrote yesterday. I saved my Tom Brady stuff, for the show that we did yesterday afternoon, One Patriots Place, and I'm not happy. I'm not a happy camper this week with everything that's happened between the Dolphins and with what came out with Deshaun Watson. And is anybody here surprised that all that Dolphin stuff came out on the same day that was the Major League Baseball trade deadline?
Yeah, it's called the news dump.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll just dump this right underneath every other story that's happened. If this happened while Tom was here in
Yeah.
New England, or if it was New England that was doing this tampering, 60 Minutes would be in Foxborough right now. There would be thousands of reporters from around the country. And
Mhm.
since it didn't happen here and the Patriots weren't the culprits,
Yeah. The
you
Watson
lose
story
a
would have
first round.
been back page news. Like no one
Yeah.
would care. Like that's how big this story. It would have been everywhere. Like you said, CNN,
Yep.
like everywhere would be talking
People are.
about it.
Mhm. But
But
circling
people are
back
just
to
happy that Brady left the Patriots. So
yeah,
they're like, oh, if it screwed
yeah,
over the Patriots in some
yeah.
way, then they don't
So
care.
it doesn't. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great point. But
Uh,
circling back to Watson, I'm at a loss that a female judge came down with this and her reasonings for it. It's we just keep waiting. I was watching another podcast, and it's an all female podcast, and they're like, "Why are you surprised? This is the way the NFL treats women. This is how they care." It's just that in the back of our minds, we're all decent people. Okay, the guys in this room, the guys that are watching out there right now that are just as outraged as I am, that is outraged as Buddy is. We're decent human beings with wives and daughters and moms, and we keep hearing that from the NFL that things are going to change. Things are going to change. Um, Hopefully that this appeal is not just window dressing. It isn't just PR, and they
Mhm.
do slap him. I know for a fact that before the hearing started, the NFL offered him a settlement
Yeah, I saw
of
that yesterday.
12 games
Mhm.
and a fine. Um, but I do hope. I personally thought that he should have gotten 2 years for this. Okay, I was outraged. You can go and read this at e2gsports.com. That the Browns were allowed to set up his contract, so he's only making $667,000 this year. So
Well,
if
and
he
guess
ends up
and
what
wonder how much of that is still going to be there after all the
right,
settlements he's made.
well that's the rest of the money,
Mhm.
but the way they set it up was if he was suspended for the year, out of the what was it, $230 million guaranteed that he's making. He could only lose $667,000. That's it. You know, and the league allowing them to set up the contract in this way was one of the most egregious things that I've seen in my lifetime. In the NHL, you can't do that. The NHL has rules stipulated that if you sign somebody for $30 million, then it's $10 million in year one, $10 million in year two, and $10 million in year three. Now, the NFL routinely does this to mess with the cap. And because whether you people like it or not, the cap is real. You know, go see my buddy Miguel, and you have to work within it. But to allow them to do this was disgusting. It was truly, truly disgusting.
I think it's another instance too, like we were saying, that if it were the Patriots or some, another team, if it were Belichick and they had done this, it would have been a way bigger deal.
Right. Just like with Miami. If it was New England, it was a way bigger deal, but it's Miami. And a lot of people messed this up. They actually came out and said that this is just the third time that a NFL franchise has been docked a first-round pick. And they brought up the fact that the Patriots were the other two times. Well, no, it's the fourth time this has happened. It's the fourth time that this has happened. 1970. Thank you very much, buddy. When the same Miami Dolphins had a first-round pick taken away from them and given to the Baltimore Colts for what? Tampering.
With Don Shula.
Yep. That's it. There was also some other.
Don Shula.
Yep. Mr. Double Dealing Don Shula.
You mean to tell me the Patriots
rest in peace in hell?
They're not the only cheaters? Is that what you're saying?
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
There's an entire website set up for it. I wish I'd thought of it myself. Isn't it delicious?
I love that website. Isn't it like the Broncos are the cheatingest or something? I don't know. Some crazy team.
The Broncos are the cheatingest team that has ever played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Followed by the San Francisco 49ers. I think the Patriots are like number 14 on the list or something like that.
Yeah.
But because nobody in the world can understand what cold weather does to something that's inflated with air and camera placement. Okay, that's it. Because
so a question for you guys.
All right.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on the Haslams as owners of the Browns? And I'm going to give you two names: Kareem Hunt, Deshaun Watson.
I think they're slimy, sleazy, misogynistic fucktards. Thank you very much. You gave me a pass the last time, so I'll use it again this time. It's like it is throughout the NFL, but with 99% of the owners, with the exception of Bob Kraft, who will sit there and cut the guy at the snap of a finger if there are any shady shenanigans. And we can go back to to Brown when he decided to pick his phone up and start texting people, which contributed to Tom Brady's petulance and childish antics because he got cut. You can go back to Hernandez, who as soon as the arrest happened, he didn't wait to see who was whether it was true or not, whether he was in the state or not, or anything. He cut him like that. And yet Chandler Jones, thank you very much. The only Patriot that has ever blocked me on Twitter and every other social media, because I started to refer to him as Chandler Bong. And
Willie Andrews after the 2007. Willie Andrews after the 2000. And a guy they did not want to be here. They did not want here. And why is his name slipping me?
The
Came
Nebraska,
from Washington and Tennessee. Big defensive line. Albert Hainsworth.
Albert Hainsworth
was another guy.
Cut bait with him. There was a draft pick, not Eugene Chung, but the other Chung, that they cut. He had a couple of allegations made by women that he was just a tad bit too aggressive with them, and that was back in Christian Peters. That's it. Thank you. I don't know why I had Chung in my head. Christian Peters. Mrs. Kraft put a quick end to that, and Bob has been the same way ever since. And yet you have teams like Cleveland that will sign anybody, like Miami that will bring anybody in no matter the allegations.
The Chiefs.
Yep, like the Chiefs. Thank you very much. The Ravens, who will build statues to guys who have been implicated in murders. Where's the white suit, Ray? Where's the white suit? So no, I mean, I believe we have a right to hold our heads high here, because like I said, the allegations that have come down here have been about science and camera placement. That's it. It's okay to put it here. It wasn't okay to put it here. And you guys know why it's not okay to have a camera on the field level now to tape anything?
I can't
It has
remember.
nothing to do with competitive advantage. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
No. NFL Films has exclusive rights to have cameras on the field, with the exception of the broadcasting partner of that day in that game. And NFL Films complained that teams had too many cameramen down there from too many different angles, and they were getting in their way. That's why the rule was changed. It has nothing to do with NFL with any kind of competitive advantage. Think about it, people. We live in a point in time where you can take a picture of a gnat on a camel's ass in the middle of the Gobi Desert from space. But this was an issue.
Well, and not everybody on the field with their cell phones posting on social media, like the social media people for each team.
Yeah, there you go.
Or just photographers in general.
Yeah, but I think the Patriots are a very clean run team. They're a very an organization that is very respectful to women and their concerns and needs. I'm putting Buddy to sleep there.
No, I'm
maybe
over to see if there's any breaking news on either TV.
So that's it. But like I said, I just wanted to come in and welcome Sara to the show. Welcome her to E2G. And I can't wait for you to start writing.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to streaming and stuff too, because I haven't done that in a while. I told everybody in the audience, I forgot to tell Buddy before we went on, that I have a tentative name for my own show. So I have to tell you guys later, but I'm excited.
Can you hang for like 2 seconds, Murph, so I can run to the restroom?
Oh, sure.
Make sure the AC is turned down.
I could be the defensive replacement. Unlike Jackie Bradley Jr., who the Red Sox cut this morning.
I saw that.
Ass hat.
I'm not like super big into baseball. I kind of pay attention, but I was kind of bummed about that because obviously I watched the World Series run. So
yeah,
I have a soft spot for JBJ.
You should. Jackie Bradley Jr. is hands down the best defensive center fielder that I've ever seen in my life. And don't come at me with, he's the best defensive outfielder I've ever seen in my life. And people, do not come at me with Willie Mays or anybody of that ilk. I never saw them play. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I've seen game films of Willie Mays making a catch over his head and throwing the ball back in, but that's basically all I've ever seen of Willie Mays. I didn't have the opportunity or the privilege of watching him on an everyday situation. I did with Jackie Bradley from the time he walked into the league until he left here, and now left here again. Buddy, what'd you think of Jackie Bradley Jr. getting cut today?
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to find some pieces or bring up a young guy to try to spark everything here. And I want to see what Hosmer does today to help spark. Going back to Kansas City.
Look, Eric Hosmer is not what Eric Hosmer was in Kansas City. He hasn't been since he played in Kansas City. And I'm sorry, I don't need a slap hitting first baseman that doesn't drive in runs and has. You should have signed my son. Honestly, sign the Butchie.
We signed
the
Butchie.
They should. He cures all. He cures all their problems. You know, he's a starting pitcher, he's a closing pitcher, he's a first baseman, and he hits for power. The only thing Butchie doesn't have is speed. So you could have one of your quick little guys that you have down on the farm pinch run for him when he gets to second base. That's fine. But no, like I said, I just came in to welcome Sarah. I can't wait. Sarah, you've got to put your we'll see how I got T Murph 207 and Buddy's got E2G founder there. Got to remember to do that because we got to build everything up. So folks, go follow Sarah. Go follow E2Gsports.com so you never miss a morning or an afternoon when she's on. She'll be on One Patriots Place again. We hope when we ask her to grace us with her presence and her flowing hair that Steve and I do not have.
What?
And yeah, you do that on purpose. You do that on purpose just because you look sexy as hell with no hair.
Well,
I couldn't pull that off.
It's not really growing, so I mean, let's tell it like it is.
Trying to help you out here, bud.
I know.
But guys, have a great afternoon. I'm gonna go do something with my wife and try to just relax because I haven't been able to relax for the last 4 days. Go check out E2G Sports. I'm unfortunately all over the place right now because I just can't keep my fingers to myself, and I'm sitting here at this keyboard, and I need to decompress for a day or so because I'm so stressed out over everything that's happened between the Red Sox and the Patriots and the Dolphin diddling Tom Brady. I'm not saying that I'm unappreciative of the things that Tom Brady did while he was here. I'm not saying that if I owned a Tom Brady jersey, I would go out and burn it. And I'm not suggesting anybody else does, but I'd never wear it again. Right now, I'm really, really pissed off. I feel like a man who was cheated on. Okay, this community, myself included, went to bat for Tom Brady in some of the darkest times that he had here when everybody on the planet was calling him a cheater. The people here had his back when people were calling him a system quarterback, and that was the reason for his success. The people here had his back, and on his way out the door, he kind of screwed us over, and that's the way I feel. He went out and dated somebody else because, quite frankly, we were the wife at home who got fat and decided, I'm going to go out here and find a better deal. And I didn't blame him when he did, but now in hindsight, I'm really done. I'm really done to do that to us in his last year here. And he didn't put his best foot forward, and you could see it while he was on the field, and you could see it when he was on the sideline pouting. I've really had it right now, and I need to step away for a day or so just to collect myself. Okay,
just stay cool during that heat wave too.
Oh, I will.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna try.
Definitely light up the fireplace and get some logs and do it up the right way, man.
That's it. Sit around the fire pit and drink too much. Peace, everyone. Take care. Go Pats. Go Sox.
All right. Thank you. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Are you having fun on your first show?
Yes, I am.
Fun. This is fun. So I got an NFL question.
Okay.
We'll go around the divisions. Who's your divisional winner as of 8/4/22? And that may change 11 times between now and the season. But as of right now, you look at teams.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back and forth with it.
Okay. So where do you want to start?
Let's start in the NFC West and we'll work our way to the AFC East.
Oh, the NFC West. Oh, goodness. Oh gosh. I think I like the Rams.
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. I like the potential that the 49ers have, but we are yet to see a full year with Trey Lance. So, we
haven't seen a full month with Trey Lance.
Yes. We're yet to see a full game of Trey Lance. So, I like that idea, but I think it's the easiest answer is the champs, you know.
The champs
Yeah.
coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Most dominant player in the game. Still on
Yep.
the roster.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the NFC South.
I'm going with the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks too.
Yeah. It's funny because Brady went from the easiest division in the AFC to like the easiest division in the NFC right now. Like he couldn't have asked for a better division, especially right now. The rest of the division is a hot mess. So definitely Bucks.
This is going to be a fun one. The
Mhm.
NFC North.
Yeah, this one is intriguing. I feel like the easy answer is the Packers, but I'm not sold on them. I'm very curious to see how Rodgers will do without his like biggest weapon of his entire career, basically, in Devontae Adams. I think that's going to be a bigger hit on him. But I don't know that I like any other team better than them right now. I think the others are too big of question marks, and the Lions are the Lions.
I'm going to shock here.
Uh-oh. I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to wait.
Okay. I'm going to say something purple. Was that what you were thinking?
Oh, no. Nope. I thought you were going to go Bears for some reason, but
I'm going to go Vikings.
yeah.
That receiving core is pretty good. They improved on defense. And I'm not sold. I have this visual in my mind from last year's playoffs that after San Francisco blocked that punt and ran it in for a touchdown and tied the game, Aaron Rodgers pretty much came onto the field, quit, and threw the ball into the ground 3 times.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised.
Is that new behavior for the GOAT, Aaron Rodgers?
But my philosophy is the new receivers and weapons he has, how frustrated is he going to get?
Yeah. Well, and I was surprised we didn't see more of like a meltdown when Adams left. I was kind of expecting to see, you know, a holdout or some sort of crazy behavior from Rodgers because, you know, that's what he's done the last 3 off seasons. And it didn't really happen. And I'm guessing that maybe it's because he had a conversation with Adams and Adams wanted out. But yeah, given the fact that he doesn't stop mentioning the offense and the lack of weapons and how it's not fair and blah blah blah, I can't imagine this season's going to go well with him.
Yeah, there's not going to be any of those pouting moments on the field and just not following the script. The NFC East is very interesting.
It is, yeah. I have absolutely no faith in the Giants and absolutely no faith in the Commanders. So that's yeah, I just don't. It's Carson Wentz and the Commanders. They're a hot mess. I like the Eagles getting AJ Brown, but I feel like I'm going with the Cowboys. I think Jalen Hurts is good, but he was just a really inconsistent last year. So I think I believe a little bit more in the Cowboys, although I don't think they'll get very far in the playoffs if they, you know, once they get there.
I'm going to surprise you.
Uh-oh.
I think that front four in Washington is unstoppable when they're playing well and healthy.
Even with Carson Wentz, though? You think they can just make up for that?
Even with Carson Wentz. I think they can make up for it just enough. I don't think, like, it's going to be a 12-win team.
Oh, yeah.
I see 10-7, 9-8.
Isn't that crazy when that can win a division?
Yeah, because so everybody in the division just beats on each other.
Yeah.
And they don't win out of the division.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how that. Most fun division, the AFC West.
Yeah, this one is very interesting. Oh, who would I pick? I don't. Okay, I want to hear your thoughts first because I'm like looking at them and I'm like thinking about all the changes and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm going with the Chargers.
Okay. And yeah, their defense is going to be scary.
Really good. Khalil Mack added. They added interior pressure. The linebackers are going to be healthy. You got Derwin James, Nasir Adderley. J.C. Jackson added there with Asante Samuel Jr. They're going to have a lot of good pieces and be able to rotate guys in and out. But on the offensive side of the ball, that Week 18 performance from the fourth quarter in overtime by Justin Herbert was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen by any athlete in any sport.
Yeah, it was insane.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's 4th and 15. He gets 16. Drive touchdown. I mean, if his coach isn't such an idiot going for it, like, oh, we're at our own 2, but it's 4th and 9.
Yeah,
we can do this.
Yeah,
and we'll just hold him to a field goal. Like, no, Staley, that isn't how this is going to work.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say I think I trust the Chargers more than I trust the Raiders, although I do like, obviously they added Adams, they have Bolden, they have Josh McDaniels. But I don't feel comfortable picking the Raiders at this point because we also haven't seen how they're going to do with all those new pieces and a brand new coach. We don't know how McDaniels is going to do as a head coach. It's not great from what we've seen historically.
Right.
And of course, then you take Tyreek Hill away from Patrick Mahomes. That gives you kind of a big question mark there too. And Russell Wilson in Denver, as exciting as that may be to some people, I'm not thrilled. So I probably agree with you on the Chargers.
I think they're poised to make a pretty damn good run this year.
Yeah.
The AFC South. This is a very interesting division.
I kind of feel like I like the Colts. I think they definitely got an upgrade at quarterback in Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan's underrated. We know the Texans are a mess. The Jags are questionable. Titans again. That's like Tannehill can be very good and very bad. But yeah, I think I'll take the Colts.
I'm gonna go with the Colts too, and it's some of the pickups they had, like Yannick Ngakoue outside, and drafting Alec Pierce to go opposite Michael Pittman, who's really developing.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor still with tread on the tires, and that offensive line giving Matt Ryan time. He's going to make pretty good decisions and throws.
Yep.
It's going to be a tough offense to defend against.
Yeah.
And they may have lost Eberbush or whatever his name is to Chicago. But there's a lot of players on that defense, just even that second level with Okereke and Leonard making plays. This is a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And they really got to feed off. First thing I'm showing, or every day, I'm showing them that Jacksonville game and making them watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I feel like they need that kind of thing too. Like some teams do. Relive the pain.
Relive the pain. Wow. Sounds like
feel the pain.
Sounds like a wrestling fan to me.
Yep, that's me.
AFC North.
I've got I'm going with the Ravens.
Really?
I'm a big Lamar Jackson believer. I love Lamar Jackson. And I just, the Bengals I think are up there. Like if I didn't pick the Ravens, I would go with the Bengals, but I have to wait and see how the Bengals do it this season before I give full confidence in them. I'm not saying last year was a fluke, but can they maintain that consistency and that success? I have to see that.
Build off it because they were a minute away from winning it.
Yeah. And they should have won. I'm so mad about that. Still so mad.
Going with the Bengals. They got some guys coming back from injuries. They improved their secondary. They went out and got a really good tight end who fits what they do, and Hayden Hurst. My biggest thing is, do they have the guy to spell Joe Mixon? I think that's something they need to look for and hopefully find. I kind of wish Gio Bernard had never left because he'd be the perfect fit for what they need.
Yeah. Is he still in Tampa? Did they re-sign him?
I don't know if they re-signed him. I know they got Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, the kid they drafted this year.
Yeah, maybe I don't know where he went. I would have to look.
Yeah, and Ito Smith is another guy I think would be a good fit for Cincinnati. They need that third down back. I'm all set with Samaje Perine being my third down back. Like I'm a fan. But
It says that he's still on the. It says he's still on the Bucks.
Wow, they must be hiding him way down the depth chart.
Oh my gosh, his one photo with his mustache, that is insane.
Who
His oh my goodness, he just has a straight mustache, like straight 80s guy. This man, his photo. Wow. That is awesome.
Tampa. That'll get ladies in Tampa.
Yeah, that just oh my goodness, that's silly. It's like it just ages him too. I'm like, wait, you're only 30? That mustache makes you look a lot older, sir.
Yeah. Trying to get his AARP card.
Yeah, that discount.
All right, let's go full division here. AFC East. Who do you have coming in fourth place?
Oh, fourth place. The Jets.
I'm gonna shock people here.
You're gonna say the Dolphins. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say it's a toss up, but I just the Jets had a good draft, but again, maybe this like you said, it's gonna change a million times, and it's possible that I could move the Jets up. I just have to see. It's like at the end of the day, they're still the Jets, So unless something like drastically changes this year, then yeah, I'm sticking with them at 4. Why the Dolphins at 4?
Because I think Tua is brittle, and I think he lasts about 2 to 3 weeks, and that whole show is just thrown for a loop.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill, I feel like, is trying to sell us too much on how good Tua and the entire team is. It's almost like you're overcompensating. You're trying to sell us too hard that it's becoming unbelievable at this point.
Yeah, and I think Waddle's the best weapon on that offense. I love Tyreek Hill and what he does, but Waddle's the guy who's key for what Tua does.
Yeah, I as a Patriots fans, I shudder at the thought that they have both of them. Like I'm just like, why did you have to go to Miami?
And don't forget the tight end situation, and some good pieces there. But I got to see how this coach comes in, changes the system, and how it goes about. Because the offensive line wasn't very good last year, and they've been looking for pieces and trying to move guys around. So I don't know. I got them in 4th, and I got the Jets in 3rd.
Yeah, and see, I would say Dolphins 3rd. So we're basically the same, just opposite. If that makes any sense. We're the same, just opposite.
Yes.
Makes sense to me.
Your number 2 team?
This is where I'm struggling. Because, of course, it's between the Patriots and the Bills. I think I'm going to go with the Patriots are number 2.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's going to be a significant gap between the Bills and the Patriots record. I think, the Bills do have a solid team, but they did only win one more game than the Patriots did last year. So I'm not sure that they've had such a massive jump. But there's still question marks for the Patriots. So I don't know that I feel comfortable having them win the division at this point. And
the thing with the Bills is they're really putting all the apples in the cart this year.
Yeah.
And they're already $18 million over for next year.
Yeah. I know. I think that are the Patriots the only one in the East that's not over?
There might be one team with like $4 million available, but the Pats have $53 million available.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that excited me, but then also made me sad because I'm like, who's a free agent? I didn't want to look. So I was like, I don't want to stress about the number of guys that are leaving. I don't want to stress about it right now.
Who are we adding on top of?
Yeah. That's I couldn't do it. So, but 53 million, I mean, we're in the best spot. So, if things don't go amazing this season, at least next off season could be good.
It's definitely the case. The only thing we didn't talk about the wide receiver group.
Oh yeah.
And makeup skill set, like you okay?
Oh yeah. I was trying to change my note. Try to changing the page in my notes.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, Aguilar is going to be different this year because Parker's going to fill that role that they had Aguilar miscast in last season.
Yeah.
That's not what he does. He's not an outside boundary receiver. A lot of his big plays with the Eagles was out of the slot, moving around. Kendrick Bourne, he can be anywhere.
Yep.
I think there'll be carries for him. A lot of fun with him.
Mm-hmm.
Thornton is the speed guy.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to show you a little bit more than you expected.
And he was talking about that too. I think his quote was something like, "I'm more than just speed. Like I'm more than just being fast." So, because that's the emphasis, which is exciting for the Patriots because they haven't had that. I mean, nobody's had as speedy of a guy as him as far as like how fast he was at the combine. But it's been a while since the Patriots were able to actually say that they had speed on offense.
And I watched some of his tape, and he kind of does play up to that speed. It wasn't like John Ross at Washington, where that 4-2-2, and you watched him play, and you're like, he doesn't play 4-2-2. He doesn't acclimate to the game at 4-2-2. Big difference.
And he's having a good camp, so that's promising.
My big thing, I don't think Myers is here. I think Trey Nixon is here over him.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, they're kind of putting Nixon everywhere in camp so far. He's doing returns. He's in the offense. He had a great spring. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think that if we had to pick one, I would agree with you. I think that Myers is probably the guy to go. He's not like irreplaceable. Like as much as I like him and he seems like a great guy and whatever, I do think that Trey Nixon could fill his role pretty easily.
If we got to sit on to guys like Jacoby Myers and think they're important, that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with this team. We got to elevate above that.
Yeah. And I think so far, although all the talk is about how the offense is not doing well, I do think that there's a lot of good coming out of the receivers. So there's a lot to look forward to in that aspect. Where we don't have to be as concerned about it as, some people were, especially last year and the year before. It was such a hot topic. It was like the main topic that people were talking about were the receivers. And I think this year you can kind of like relax a little bit, like their speed. They can, they have like one of the best contested catch makers in the league. They have the fastest guy from the draft this year. They have the versatility, like you mentioned, in Kendrick Bourne. Like, I think they're, plus the tight ends. So I think they're in a much better space than they were. Thank God.
There's going to be a day for them where this offense is going to click.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's 2 weeks from now in camp, maybe during, the periods with Carolina, while they're up here for dual practices, maybe things kick with another team on the other side. Not really seeing it. Not that people don't know all the defenses in the league or offenses in the league, but does it happen at that moment, or are we waiting a little bit into the season? And, a lot of times we talk about the first few weeks for the Patriots during the Brady era was extension of the preseason. See that.
Yeah, and it's something you have to be patient with because there's so many different players coming in that are going to be try and be implemented, plus the new playbook. Like there's so many changes this year. It's probably going to take a little bit longer than normal, but then we have to get back, like you said, to that mindset of like, even when Brady was around, it took a while for them to gel and get it going. So the expectation for them to come out week one, swinging and being super competitive, I think we need to just get rid of that because it's unlikely to happen unless, like you mentioned as well, something happens between now and week one from the preseason games or just the practices. Unless something we see out of those changes our mind, then I would assume it's probably going to take a little bit into the season. That's my guess anyway.
Last thing for me. Do you have any players you don't want to see in preseason games? Keep on ice until the season.
Oh my gosh. It's hard because the preseason worries me no matter who's playing. I don't want anybody to get hurt. We've had the curse, like Edelman got hurt in the preseason, but I would like to see more so of like the receivers. Like I kind of want to keep some of them on ice as long as we get good reps in them on practice, with like Parker, Aguilar is doing great. Bourne, like I just don't want those top guys that they are going to be relying on offensively, especially. I don't want to risk them at all, especially because they're new. They're gonna want to impress. They're gonna want to try and acclimate really fast. There's too many like ACL injuries in preseason. There's too many just knees and legs in general. I'm like, please just keep these guys. Like, I don't care. I don't care what they look like. I just want to see what they look like in practice. I don't want to risk anything at all. So I'd be fine with almost anybody, basically.
Kept on ice.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about your other love.
Yes.
Professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically WWE.
Yes.
I can't get you into AEW, can I?
And it's funny. I just did a podcast with my friend, our wrestling podcast. We just did the second like 2.5 episode yesterday because our second one we had to scrap. So this is like our 2.5. And he's big into AEW. He likes WWE too. He watches both. And he asked me the same question. And I said that I think the couple times that I've tried to like tune in, I think I just possibly chose coincidentally just the wrong time to tune in, because I think all wrestling shows kind of have those moments where even if you're a fan, you're like cringing or you're just like, what is this? And I feel like that may have just happened to me one too many times with AEW, that I was like, okay, I can't do this. Like I can't watch this again. But I think that I need to at least one time give it a watch from start to finish and then formulate my opinion on that, because I'm not anti AEW. I like the competition, and obviously they've given a lot of great talent the opportunity to be on TV and do what they love. It's just, I've been watching WWE since like 99. So, I'm loyal to the brand,
That's good. I like hearing those words. I'm going to staple you to those words.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, they have a championship series this Saturday, Battle of the Belts, which will be pretty good. It's on TV. Putting up their championships. There's some good storylines and matches to be had. They do have some really good matches.
Yeah. Well, and that was something we talked about a little yesterday, just like the Triple H era. I'm really excited to see how much that changes WWE and the fresh minds and creative and the people that might decide that they want to work in WWE again, especially the guys that are and girls that were in NXT that may have left prior to being brought up to the main roster because they didn't want to work with Vince and they knew that their time with Triple H was limited. I'm curious, that happened at SummerSlam. We saw Dakota Kai come back, and she was someone who asked for her release this April. So I'm excited to see that and maybe, see if there's some sort of more competition maybe between them and AEW if he tries to take some ideas that AEW is doing and try to bring those to WWE. Maybe the forbidden door will be open. I don't know. It's going to be interesting though.
Yeah, that'd be quite interesting if they pulled that off.
I was shocked when they did it with Impact and they had Mickie James at the Rumble. I thought that was great because I mean, for a long time it was just TNA that was their competition. So the fact they did that was pretty cool. I don't know if that'll happen with AEW. If it does, I don't see it happening soon, but it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be up to probably Stephanie and Tony Khan. I don't know what that relationship is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
We'll hear something, to go back and forth with contracts and talent. That's where it's going to start hitting soon.
Yeah. Well, and Cody Rhodes going to WWE, I think is going to be an interesting impact on AEW people too. If they want to go through the forbidden door, if they end up, their contract is up with AEW, maybe they're more prone to look at WWE rather than, what it was before. It's going to be interesting because Cody got skyrocketed to the moon immediately. So, and that was with Vince. Yep. So it'd be interesting to see what other returns might look like.
Yeah, I'm few in mind. Just curious, guys not being used to their full potential. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens there. But we'll wrap it up here. Good first show.
Yeah.
I'll
I
talk
had
to you
fun.
after the show. I'll keep you on just to go over creative. But yeah, welcome to the E2G team.
Thank you.
And
I had fun. I like talking a lot about stuff I like. So I'm glad that I could do that for an hour and a half.
yeah, you get an hour and a half out of it. And
Yeah, I
you
know.
get to hang out with Murph, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that always wins. So for Sara Marshall, I'm at E2G founder. First NFL game tonight, 8 p.m. The Raiders and the Jaguars preseason game. I don't know how many guys are going to be playing that you even know, but it's
It's
football.
football. Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On the other side, we'll see you. And first formation tomorrow at 10 a.m. here on the E2G Sports Network. Again, for Sara, I'm at E2G founder, Buddy Android. Have yourselves a good afternoon.